Family traditions can involve all kinds of things, like activities around the holidays, or maybe it's cooking that certain special meal. A lot of things. Sometimes it can even mean passing down ideals and passions that can turn into careers. I'm Stephanie Haney, and in this edition of HeartThreads, we're taking a look at generations of service and tradition as family members inspire the next generation in life. In military families, a tradition of duty and service runs deep. And as John Becker finds out, that's no different in the Kroom family. Take a look.
The roots of military service shared within one Knoxville family rests among these rows of headstones.
William H. Kroom, Corporal, United States Army Air Corps, World War II. He was the patriarch of our family. What he painted for me was a picture of toughness, empathy, humor, and love, unconditionally.
Men in the Kroom family would follow a similar path as their patriarch, serving across 3 generations in every modern war, including Marine veteran Jared Kroom.
And I was lucky to share this fraternal bond with him by my service. It honors him as well as many others in my family.
Jared joined the Corps late in his young life at age 25. The self-described starving artist and writer turned to military service as the fulfillment of a lifelong dream.
I really just took stock of my life, and I said there are some things I want to accomplish. I want to become a United States Marine, and I want to go to college and become a college graduate.
A devotion deepened after the 9/11 terror attacks, driving this Marine veteran who had finished duty to re-enlist. Within a month, he was back in uniform.
I lived in Brooklyn. Even now, I can still smell the fire. I can hear the ambulances, and sadly, I lost several friends in the towers, men I served with, and friends that I had come to know in New York. So it was very personal for me.
And in addition to his grandfather and 9/11, Jared Kroom credits his Uncle Paul as an inspiration to serve his country.
My uncle, who was a Marine during the Vietnam era, he didn't serve in country, but he was always a pillar of strength, a pillar of integrity.
I am not the type of person to hold back, so I would tell the whole story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But still, he wanted to be a part of that.
Paul Kroom was among the last draftees during the war in Vietnam, but he too later re-upped voluntarily.
It forced me to grow so much, so quickly, and for me to understand more about myself and my own potential. You see yourself on the most level playing field that you could ever imagine.
Well, I mean, if you look at the historical reference of African Americans in this country and service to this country, we have risen to answer the call time and time again since the Civil War. We fought for our freedom in the Civil War, and we have fought for the ideals of the country.
I think that when I look at my entire family tree, I know that service is over everything. And I know
right now, today, the Kroom family has young members in service, and Jared's daughter is considering the option after college, either the military or some other public service.
All of my dad's ideals, which are now my ideals, came from somebody I never even knew.
But one of the things that resonates as I look around here is I see a unity of thought, a unity of service. We are not a perfect nation, but every man and woman who lies in this hallowed ground gave their life for the ideals of building a better nation, a more perfect union. And that's what resonates with me.
In Waco, Texas, 3 members of the Bright family have served the Waco Fire Department since starting in 1969. While they've all had different journeys, the grandfather, son, and grandson have all filled roles at the department. Chris Radcliffe introduces us to the family of firefighters.
It's been a good career. It's been a good life that I chose.
Since 1969, and for well over 1/3 of the department's existence, a member of the Bright family has been a working fireman in Waco.
Yes, sir. Coming up here as a kid, either to see Grandpa or Dad, just kind of fell in love with it.
And that love has led to an adaptation. Over that more than half a century, there have been a lot of changes, but one thing stands out for the Bright family.
Yes, it's mainly the equipment. They have so much better. Our equipment was heavy, Our equipment was not the greatest. We didn't have air packs. Otherwise, you went into the fire crawling on your belly, trying to just get to where you're going, staying low.
You have to stay cool in a lot of non-cool situations. But, you know, the guys around the firehouse are really, it's really a family.
And for the Brights, that's 100% true. In fact, family members used to not be allowed on the same shift, but the rules have changed.
And then when I came in, our chief at the time really stressed that he wanted to bring family together because, yeah, we do miss events, birthdays, holidays, and that kind of made it easier.
Family life away from the fire department is really tough when you got several members on different shifts. We work a 24-hour shift, but we're all 48. But yeah, he's just like, he's still my son, but he's one of the guys too at the same time.
Well, there may be no favoritism at work, but when it comes to Grandpa, well.
Yes, I'm extremely proud of my son, but I'm especially proud of my grandson.
Corey, he's a good kid. Yeah.
It's not often that you get these rough around the edges civil servants feeling the emotions. They'd rather go back to teasing Grandpa about pulling up to fight fires in a horse-drawn carriage.
There's always going to be some razzing at the fire station, you know. Young, old, it doesn't matter.
But at the end of the day, the firefighters and these family members did have to sacrifice, knowing that 1 out of every 3 24-hour days would be spent at the station.
I always tell people, my kids got to go on vacation. I never did.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Because I couldn't stay gone.
You know, and a wife's going to be home alone 10 nights a month or something.
Well, some of them think that's a good thing.
Yeah, that may be true. That may be true.
I'm so happy and proud of both their services and how many years they put in. And that's definitely paved the way for me as in terms of how to act and how to be on job.
Some of the greatest days of that time period I spent in the fire department. Yes, I was always proud because I always felt like we were helping somebody.
Nothing says summertime quite like a family lemonade stand. And for one Indiana family, passing out lemonade is a tradition that goes back generations. Carlos Diaz gives us a taste of Hoosier hospitality.
Jim Halleck has based his entire life on serving his community.
52 years in public education.
One summer, 35 years ago, Jim, his wife Connie, and their 3 daughters, Lindsay, Jessica, and Kristen, built a lemonade stand to offer refreshment to the people of Bargersville.
I had some scrap wood, and you can tell by looking at the colors, those are extra colors from our house in the 70s and the 80s from a kitchen or a bathroom. And we had old paint and old lumber, and the kids helped me build a lemonade stand, and we put it out on the curb, and it was popular, and it was more fun than it was about the money.
Fast forward a few decades, Jim has now dusted off that old lemonade stand so that his daughter, Lindsay, could pass on the family tradition and sell lemonade with her daughter and triplet sons in Franklin.
My dad pulled this out of the garage, and he was like, "You're in a perfect location. Your kids are gonna have a really fun time with this."
And now the kids in this 35-year-old photo have kids of their own who regularly visit the same lemonade stand.
There they are, and they've had a ball for the last, 4 or 5 years, Lindsay?
Is Poppy your best customer?
Is there a secret to selling good lemonade?
Like smiling.
Smiling.
Oh yeah,
waving.
smiling and waving.
Delicious.
It's more just happy that they're gonna have these memories to carry on and then hopefully pass down to their kids.
How much does it warm your heart to see your grandkids right there with the same lemonade stand that you had so many years ago?
You know, it's just really cool to think that something like this could be passed on for so much fun. Now, Lindsay's challenge is going to be put that in her garage, and she's got to save it for 35 years so that her grandchildren can use it. That's the challenge.
Stock shows are fun for the whole family, and generations of discipline have prepared one 11-year-old to carry on a Kirkland family tradition. Sean Humphrey has the story.
At the biggest event in town, 11-year-old Brazos Kirkwood is...
A little nervous.
Yeah, a little nervous? What makes you nervous?
And the camera.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's certainly not the 1,216-pound heifer standing next to him. Her name is Elvira, and they're like peas and carrots. As a third-generation stock show competitor, Brazos is used to working on animals every single day. He brushes, feeds, washes, and conditions Elvira practically as soon as he walks in the door at home.
Right after school, we get on her and start working.
Some of his best friends have 4 legs.
They're kind, and it makes you feel better when you're around them.
He said he enjoys doing the work needed for the San Angelo Stock Show because he gets to be around Elvira. And the proof is in the pudding. At the Erie County Junior Livestock Association Stock Show in December, his heifer was the grand champion, while his sister Sage's animal was the reserve grand champion. Their father, Wade Kirkwood, the program director of West Texas Boys Ranch, enjoys seeing them continue the family tradition.
You know, his grandfather showed, his mom showed, I showed, so it's a, you know, he's a third generation shower, so it's kind of a part of who we are and what we do. So
the elder Kirkwood says his greatest childhood memories were spent raising livestock. In adulthood, that shared passion still creates unforgettable moments.
One late night with his first heifer, it was nearly dark. I turned around and looked, and he's nearly underneath her combing, and that trust between that animal and that young man, and seeing that he loves something that I love, that'll always be one of my favorite memories.
And to Wade, it's no surprise that Brazos loves the process, because when he finishes working on Elvira for the day, his downtime is simple.
I just lay down and read my book with her.
Sean Humphrey, Fox West Texas.
Okay, if you've ever gone bowling, you know a perfect score is pretty hard to come by. But Steve Iwanek found a father-son duo in Ohio who were able to pull off something even more impressive than one perfect game.
Getting a 300 in bowling is like reaching the summit of the tallest mountain. Some will never be able to reach that number. Others do it quite often.
I think he's one of the toughest anchors. He should be bowling anchor whenever he bowls, because he's probably, if not, one of the toughest of his generation.
The father-son duo of Kevin and Connor Welch have competed in the sport for a long time. On Thursday, February 15th, the duo did something rarely seen before.
First thing I did was ran up and embarrassed him, of course, and I gave him a big hug.
Both bowled a perfect game while competing in the same tournament together, creating a memory that will last a lifetime.
I thought I was going to mess up before he did, because I don't do good under pressure. But after the talk ball, it was pretty good.
So after talking with the two of them, I decided to learn from some of the area's best. Let's just say I'm not going to be getting a 300 anytime soon.
We didn't see that. We're going to try it again.
I improved a bit, but I still have work to do. It's easy to say for an amateur like me, but so it is too for a duo who has accomplished the max.
Once you're raised in a bowling alley, the whole vibe just stays the same, and it just keeps going and going. And then you have fun. It's all about having fun.
And he's always wanting to see what I shot whenever I do bowl, so he has, so he can try to beat me.
An Ohio firefighter is retiring after serving with the Toledo Fire and Rescue Department for over 25 years. And as he retires, his daughter is taking her oath and joining the department. Christy Gerlett introduces us to the firefighting father and daughter duo.
Kendra Borum knew she wanted to be a fighter just like her dad since she was 5 years old.
He took me on Take Your Daughter to Work Day, and from that moment I was sold. As I was in the tower with them, I'm watching them run up and down. They had all their gear on. They're high-fiving me as they're passing me, and from that moment, that was it.
Kevin Gordon retired from the Toledo Fire Department after serving more than 25 years.
She grew up in the fire station, in the firehouse. The fire life is all she knows. She fell in love with the department. She fell in love with the fire service, and she's been wanting to do this since she was a little girl.
Last week, Kendra's dream came true when she took her oath to become a Toledo firefighter. Her dad, beside her, beaming with pride.
There are no words to describe how proud I was of her. To see my daughter to set a goal many years ago and to work towards that. I can't express how proud I am of my daughter. There are no words to describe that.
Now, Kendra brings her kids to the firehouse, the same one she took this picture at all those years ago.
I have big shoes to fill. My dad is a great man, and knowing what he did for this department and for this city and making things better for everybody, I know I have big shoes to fill, and I'm ready for it.
Shoes that might make this family go from 2 generations of Toledo firefighters to 3. What do you want to be when you grow up?
A firefighter.
Are you proud of your mommy?
Very proud.
Are you proud of your grandpa?
Very, very proud.
Whether it's the duty of service, a family tradition, or even just a hobby, it's a wonderful thing to pass down traditions and passions to the next generation. Thanks for watching this edition of HeartThreads. I'm Stephanie Haney.